The man must be the chief of detectives. He's staring at the screen so hard it might shatter. What? Our case may have been fabricated. That's what I thought all along. I just never bothered to tell anyone. Now, there's a guy who cares about his work.
What about the guy writing the fiction?
That must be one of the detectives. He's mumbling something to himself. That's it. The villain used a time machine. Very clever indeed. That would explain the alibi. The future might not be so far away after all. He's not writing a report. He's still writing that novel.
I wonder if you specifically investigate him
Cripes.
enough times. Ooh, whoa.
Look at this business.
Is he like the Phantom of the Opera or something?
I recognize
huge
this. I remember
pipe
this
organ.
business. February 24th, Police Department Chief's Office.
Oh, that's why this is his music too.
Whoa, where am I?
I'm just imagining that the organ is one of those computerized ones that can play on its own. You know, the ones that they have occasionally on display at malls where the keys are playing themselves?
Yeah.
Just listening a little bit. I can get to the dialogue though.
In the chief's office, silly. At least, that's what it said on the door.
Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it?
Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach.
I thought it would...
Oh, I thought... What?
I did skip that ahead.
Yep.
I never could remember where C was.
Huh? Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. Put that paper he's reading on his desk. So, Righto, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full, too, with Mr. Marshall's misconduct and Lana's provocative statement. Provocative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? 2 years ago have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me.
And that face.
You're right.
And also, look at that knight with the very, very pointy spear.
Oh.
Javelin thing.
So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it together. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. Can't quite seem to put my finger on it, though. There's a lot of things wrong with it, in fact. Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm gonna lock up here, so let's go out together.
Oh, but this office. It was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That case has been long since over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend.
Looks like we aren't welcome.
It seems that case isn't over with yet after all.
What do you mean?
Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there.
You mean like a clue?
There's gotta be a way we can get inside the chief's office. Hey, pal. Detective Gumshoe, aren't you supposed to be in a meeting? I'm, just taking a breather. My feet hurt.
From sitting so long?
Actually, from serving everyone coffee.
Oh, he's been demoted that far.
Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop. Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No. Why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battle's between you and Court.
That sounds serious.
Is it because of what my sister said?
That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now, Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood.
Yikes.
But why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Anna Sky's the guilty party here, isn't she?
Regardless, the prosecutor's responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, but as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor has kept him safe from all those who didn't like him. But now, with this,
Are there really so many people who hate him?
in our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know for making enemies.
Hey Dick, keep up the good work.
Yes, sir.
Let's go out for lunch again sometime. My treat.
Yes, sir.
Gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay, Dick?
Oh, everyone.
Yes, sir.
This is about how everyone loves him.
Yeah. Seems you don't have any problems with enemies. Oh, because he's not young and he has no talent.
Oh, burn. No.
That's exactly it. That's exactly what they're implying. Oh, boy. Seems like you don't have any problems with enemies.
Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth might just crack. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing.
Seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find out anything?
The only evidence Dark left behind was his final attack.
His final attack, you mean?
When he killed Prosecutor Marshall, who was trying to protect some girl.
Me.
Seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was that girl.
Ooh, ouch.
That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all.
Well, what was it?
Oh, let's see. I think it had something to do with the murder weapon? Oh, I forget. Look, it's all written somewhere in here, okay?
His powers of recollection never fail to impress.
Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might jog his memory.
Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman.
A businessman? What made him take to serial killing?
One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car.
With his car? So, it was an accident?
An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal.
An animal?
He killed a man that witnessed the incident. Or the accident. Then he killed something else. Then he
A lady
kid walked
for the
by, he killed
second.
him too. Then when he was burying the bodies, a jogger came upon the scene and killed him as well. Finally, he turned himself in.
So he just killed any witnesses that were witnesses to each crime.
It's just this, like,
A
dumb
domino.
rolling snowball
Precisely.
of stabbing. Stab ball. Seems he was a pretty careless animal.
Of course, this is all just conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence.
So he turned himself in.
Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but luckily Dark was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that that last witness wasn't killed.
That last witness, aka Emma. Present other knife.
Other knife.
Okay. About this.
Hey, is that?
It has a tag attached to it with the label SL9 incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of.
What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker.
On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, this suddenly disappeared from the locker. And was found in Mr. Edgeworth's carved muffler.
That's it. Now I remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me.
Well, what was it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again.
This knife, it was Joe Dark's, wasn't it?
That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at. Plus, it had his fingerprints on it too.
But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right?
That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken.
You don't have to take a good look to notice that.
Yeah, well, anyway. Take a guess where the broken off tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in.
Where was it?
The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body.
Ah.
It was found deep inside the stab wound.
Did it match Dark's knife?
You bet, down to the last fiber.
That's pretty conclusive.
Stabbed in the back, died from punctured heart and lung. Knife tip was in the wound.
Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know.
Can I ask you one more thing?
What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gant.
It's not money, but it does concern the chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered.
The chief's out now, and his office is locked. But we'd like to have a look around if that's okay.
Well, any detective's ID card can unlock that door.
What? Really?
But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust.
Breach of trust?
Simply put, I'd be canned.
Oh.
Sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you.
How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's.
That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died.
Oh.
So in other words, gumshoe is our only chance of getting into that office.
I wonder if there's something we could show him that would make him change his mind.
Okay, so while I was peeing, you were inspecting the evidence. You want to do the jar?
Oh, so I was thinking about either showing him the jar or the picture with the jar. Because those are going to prove...
Nope.
Okay, show him the jar then.
About that jar, I think I've seen it before somewhere.
Somewhere.
Or maybe it's one of those memories people have from previous lives.
This must be the most uninformative detective I've ever met.
Something about it makes me feel uneasy. It's like I'm in the chief's office and he's yelling at me.
Ah, so he remembers it being there.
Chief Gant.
Where could I have seen that before?
Then show the picture. Oh. What? Really? I thought that...
Well, that's dumb.
Because we want to prove that Gant is involved. Do the note card with the number.
That's the ID card record, isn't it?
There we go. Yeah, because a high up had to be 7777.
Yes, there's only one number left to investigate. At 4:20 p.m., the victim, Detective Goodman, must have entered the evidence room along with someone else. Someone with an executive office number.
777. 7777.
That's... oh.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you cut it down a little bit.
Okay, whatever. That's 17 too many, Detective. An executive officer. Might just have a hunch.
Ah! We're so close. There we go.
Oh, lost item report, huh?
Very impressive, Detective. You knew what it was right off the bat.
Well, I am a master of misplacement, you know.
Master of misplacement. That's fun.
Master. That has such a cool ring to it.
The way I see it, if things are meant to be lost, then they're meant to be lost. There's a higher power at work here.
Wow, a higher power.
He literally has made a religion out of ineptitude. Maybe I shouldn't let Emma hold any evidence.
What? There are so many things that he's reacting to, but... Yeah, that one.
This one?
Sure. I mean, it should show where
Nope.
he's found. No?
I've been studying up on those files. There's nothing wrong with Edgeworth's presentation. I think people are accusing him of injustice. I, for one, ain't buying it, pal.
You're looking into the case for Edgeworth?
Yeah, it was a pretty big deal while it was going on, you know. After all, a serial killer was on the loose.
But Lana was pretty clear in her confession. She forged evidence in order to prove Joe Dark guilty. I got nothing.
Yeah, but so we're supposed to show him something to prove that we need to get into Gant's office. We showed him the card that tells us that pretty much only Gant could have accessed the room before the murder. We've shown him that Goodman was going to send a missing, item form to the chief. We've shown him the pot, and we've shown him the group photo with the pot in it in the office.
Oh, can't believe Officer Marshall would do something like that.
You know Officer Marshall?
Of course I do. He was like a mentor to me. When I first started out, he even gave me a small cactus.
Really?
He said, Dick, she'll listen to all your troubles.
Note to self, Detective Gumshoe talks to a cactus.
Hard to believe he's just a patrolman now. Someone ought to trade places with him. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Nope.
No locker can be opened without a fingerprint match. Besides, there's no reason for the murderer to touch his own locker.
Hey, wasn't your locker the one with the blood on it, Detective?
A handprint of the real murderer's gloved hand. Without any fingerprints.
Shh! If they come to arrest me, you'll defend me, won't you?
If that happens, I think you'll do better pleading with Edgeworth. Well, we're getting a lot of fun dialogue, but... What is that? Okay.
We have to show...
And he doesn't care about that.
Do we show him the badger again? Nah.
This ID card belongs to the victim, Detective Bruce Goodman. You can do just about anything with anything these days with a card and a secret number. Scary.
Only scary because you keep dropping your card, Detective Gumshoe.
I forget my secret number a lot too. I'm scared of myself, but I'm me after all, and what could be wrong with that?
I think I'll stay out of this conversation.
Oh, can we look at the back of the photo?
This one?
The...
No.
No, the photo.
This one?
No, from the office.
Oh.
Unless it's just an image that we have burned into
I
our
don't
mind.
think we can ever flip these.
Yeah, no. That's just an image.
Oh, come on!
I wish I had a badge.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
that had a lance.
Hey, that's it. That's the King of Prosecutors Award that Mr. Edgeworth got the other day.
Were you at the award ceremony, Detective Gumshoe?
Of course, pal, I got an award for diligence myself.
And why is it broken?
Oh, there's a reason. I'll tell you, he forgot what it was.
No, I wanted to point this out. It actually has like a lance.
But it has a broken tip too,
Yeah.
which is weird.
Hey, I just bought some of that stuff. Now I can go around detecting blood traces too.
Wow! Is that the new type? I've never seen a bottle before. That bottle. And add 3 inches to your base height. What? Huh?
Is that's hair gel?
Probably. Base height. Hey, let me see that. Looming tall, new and improved growth formula.
You mean this can't detect any blood traces?
Well, it's not quite the same thing as luminol.
So that's why the lady at the counter had that smirk on her face. Hey, that powder's used for detecting fingerprints.
Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth gave it to us.
He did what? All I have is some flour.
Are you okay, Detective?
Quick, run! That's you. Does any help? One time I took a nap on a beach with wet paint. Oh, bench with wet paint.
Why am I not comforted? I thought for a second that it triggered it and I was gonna be mad. I have no idea.
Do we show him the badger? I don't know. I'm
Freaking-
grasping at straws.
Yeah,
at this point.
I'm super grasping Badger. This guy almost made us lose the case today.
What are you talking about? He was guarding the bloodstain on that evidence locker with his life. It's more than you can say about most officers nowadays.
It would have saved us a lot of trouble if he hadn't guarded it so well.
I have to admit, he's right though. Thanks to the Blue Badger, we were able to prove another possibility today. The possibility that another murder took place prior to... Oh, wait. Nope.
You really have... We had to show evidence that we need to get into the office, but the only evidence we have to show that we need to get into the office is the pot.
Unless
and the
I've
image
missed
of the
something
pot.
major, but like... I think I passed it like 3 times.
What's the screwdriver again? No.
Okay. Yeah, so we've done that one. What would be Edgeworth's knife? Oh. No, we've already done this one.
That's just the whole framing Edgeworth business. At this point, you're just cycling through every single one. That was about his past. How about the glove?
What he did.
No.
Hey, wasn't your locker the one with
The hand plant of the remote
Oh,
goes hand without any
handprints of the-
fingerprints.
Without any fingerprints. Oh, yeah. We already saw that one.
She haven't come to arrest me.
I have presented every bit of evidence here. Okay, so
That just confirms the Chief Gant thing.
yeah,
Oh, he doesn't even say anything about the picture.
even though it's right there.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we need to leave and come back? Oh, maybe we need to show her stuff?
Yeah, not yet. God damn it.
Attorneys and prosecutors have no
Nope.
business showing evidence outside court. It's taboo, especially when the interests of both parties are involved.
She really means it. I'm your lawyer.
Lana!
I know. What more can we show Gumshoe?
You can type it out at this point, because I am lost. Unless we go back to, Edgeworth.
We could go back to Edgeworth.
Ah.
Ah, yeah, he's here.
I wonder if Edgeworth's back yet.
There he is! It looks like he's writing something.
What are you doing here?
You're sure quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh?
Huh.
I had to live lived the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation of me?
Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm rooting for you.
That's Edgeworth for you. Always trying to hide his real feelings. So what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. When you do, time only passes when I allow it to, or the game forces it on us. There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to, and nothing else I can do. Nothing I do can erase that fact. But you didn't know, did you? I mean, that evidence was falsified. The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error, and my responsibility is as the prosecutor in charge. That fact remains the same, no matter what excuses I might have.
Mr. Edgeworth.
I take pride in my work, so tell me why. Why did it come to all this? Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of emotion bottled up. Are you up for the trial tomorrow? Huh. First last year's trial and now this one. It seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves.
But Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on a trial.
Tomorrow's the last day. Too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? A list of evidence. It seems too short. Most lists run twice this long. It's only half as long as most lists? That's odd. Oh, we've seen both halves of the list, actually. After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do. Use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at the time.
Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time.
That picture. Something seemed strange about it. Day of the crime. Could you tell us again about what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered. You were participating in a ceremony over at the station, right? Never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one.
Because you were awarded this.
Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. You finished up at the office? Yeah, it's just odds and ends, clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is until I was asked to take something back.
Take something back?
This.
Oh yeah! Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he?
Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. That's the story we heard yesterday. So you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to. That's right.
A screwdriver from a different case, quote unquote?
Well, yes, that was from the hotel.
The hotel one,
Yeah.
Right.
This picture was hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office. Prosecutor Neil Marshall just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy.
Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me.
Yes?
The trophy Mr. Marshall is holding. It's a little different than yours.
Now you're all yawning. Yes, you're right. Oh, I remember now. Remember what? That was what the official prosecutor's trophy looked like up until 2 years ago. There's a story behind its design.
A story.
Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. The first means halberd, and the second means shield. Have you heard this story? Me? Oh, sure, everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it, though, for Emma's sake? Very well, you're not fooling anyone. Long ago, in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. One day, he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Huh. Wait a minute.
Objection!
Those claims contradict each other. Very perceptive, but then again, you've heard this story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, these very descriptions of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless, and thus the Chinese word for contradiction was born.
Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and broken knife symbolize...
Precisely so, they symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words, but it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this.
Wow. Thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today.
That's funny. If that's so, well, then why were you only given a shield? I'll have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the award abolished. Chief Gant. King of Prosecutors trophy updated in the court record.
But this is... Why would he have the knife part or the sword part taken out unless it had something to do with the crime, perhaps?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, can we ask him about the blood now that he's here?
Oh, yeah. Oops, what am I doing? I presented instead of using it.
Yeah, it would be examined, right?
Yeah, sorry. Never mind.
No. Oh.
Someone used a marker to write their name on this. Emma Sky. Don't tell me you bring this with you everywhere you go.
Well, you never know where something might go down.
Just what kind of world do you think we live in?
We live in a bloody battle royale.
Oh. 1 second. I'm gonna go back through the... I skipped too much. Okay. Come now, Wright. You can't seriously expect me to just sit down and chat with you about the case over a cup of tea. But this isn't related to the case, remember? You said so yourself. So I did.
Chief Gant gave this to you that day, didn't he? He asked you to bring it from the police department.
The chief is a very competent man, but sometimes he does things that doesn't make any sense. At least it's better than being incompetent and doing things that don't make sense.
Maybe he wanted to peg Edgeworth for everything, or at least have, you know, his car.
Oh, no. Yeah, he'd already loaded up Edgeworth's car with the body.
Mm-hmm.
A certain detective comes to mind. Seems everything in this case is designed to cast doubt on me. Hey, don't look at me. As I went into the evidence room on the day of the crime, Chief Gant asked me to do something.
To take evidence from a case solved 6 months ago back to the prosecutor's office.
I have a locker in there as well. Did you notice anything amiss when you were in the evidence room? That room's always dark, and I was in a hurry. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary.
Are you gonna show the pot? Or the picture?
Actually, I was going to say we should probably nab this.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder what he was writing before.
Come on, Mr. Wright. Let's take a look.
Are you crazy? Edgeworth is sitting right there.
Just distract him. I'll check it out.
Hey, Edgeworth. Is that Detective Gumshoe out the window there? Oh no, he's fallen to the ground. Hold on. First, let me see what this girl's doing crawling around my feet. He didn't even look.
What? Letter of...
Resignation, maybe?
If you're having trouble reading, I'll read it for you. It says letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean... I'm tired, right? I feel as if something inside me has died.
But, Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault.
I know the path I've walked. You don't need to tell me.
And the path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done, and no one else should forgive me either. Uh-oh, I think he's serious.
Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something.
This letter of resignation, I wonder if I can use it for anything.
Now don't do the luminol thing.
What?
Examine?
No. I can't
you can't
examine.
use it?
No.
Aw.
But what I can do...
Who's this?
Probably...
Star?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Would either of you care for a quarter pound of roast beef?
Miss Star? I guess she's out of lunches.
You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. What? What?
Says the lady with the number one purveyor of boobage in this entire game. You'd think she'd get where milk comes from a little sooner than most.
Yeah, you'd think that humans would first discover milk from...
Their own teats?
Right, their own...
And then start looking at other things' teats and be like,
also,
more.
Other animals would also feed their young, and then someone just got the bright idea of, hey, we're raising cows, let's see if their milk tastes any good.
I'm just imagining her walking out into the field, seeing a cow and being like, I wonder, and then just going...
I'm pretty sure a cow would trample someone who
Probably,
tried
yeah.
sucking
It
from
probably
them.
would not be cool with it without, like... Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago.
Everyone in this trial was involved in the SL9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the evidence from that case was due for transferal. This can't be attributed to mere coincidence.
Aren't you forgetting something? You know, that little scene that I happened to witness?
The instant Lana stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife.
No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be savored when eaten.
Miss Star's hatred towards Lana. It all dates back to 2 years ago.
Because she lost her job. Joe Dark. That's a name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall. Must have been going through hell.
You mean because of his brother's death?
They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate.
Her?
Lana Skye. My sister? The best of the best were put on that SL9 case. Of course they were led by that legendary duo.
Lana and Chief Gant.
That legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out.
You mean with the forging of the evidence?
Don't get me wrong. Joe Dark got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear, while other items were kept secret.
But you don't have any proof anything illegal was done.
I'm proof enough of what happened.
Huh?
After that case, all of us save Goodman were relieved of our duties. Most without even so much as an explanation. Then, Lana Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor.
Lana always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Huh? Lana Sky was merely being used as a pawn.
By Gant.
That's my take on the matter.
She was being used.
Damon Gant and Lana Sky. Gant led the investigation, with Lana second in command. They were the best.
Other people are reacting to this. I noticed a while ago, but I didn't bring it up because I think we're in the middle of the case. But his tie changed. His tie changed.
Oh, well, he did get the bolo thing with the metal on it. But he also has a cross.
It's a weird cross. Yeah.
That too. Huh. Weird.
They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they?
Damon Gant's magnetism in particular was almost unreal.
His magnetism?
By that, I mean his ability to attract evidence. He produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled.
Incredible evidence? You mean...
Oh yes. There were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him, though.
I take it she's talking about forged evidence.
Back then, everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her.
Really?
Oh yes, myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake.
Mr. Marshall.
When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would have ever recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating.
Miss Starr.
That's why I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that?
Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she?
Yes, thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence. Chief.
That's right. Having solved the SL9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control. And then, no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office.
What? You mean that's why Lana was transferred?
If he could control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along.
But how could he control Lana?
Oh, I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude there must have been some reason for her change.
At last. I'm finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Miss Starr.
You listen to me, rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been.
I'm amazing. Screw you.